I'm going to start singing in the beginning of these because I think it's so awesome. How is everyone? I know this is my first live in like a month because of the holiday. I really dragged. Can you hear me? And can you let me know? If not, I will turn this little bad boy off. But I've been told that the quality of video is a lot better when I use a microphone. So I am temporarily have this until I invest and get a better one. But I think overall this one works really well. So what's going on in everyone's reality? What do you need help with? I know everyone's going to come slowly. That's just kind of how these YouTube lives kind of work. TikTok's a lot different. I don't know why, but not that that matters. So let's get into it. Like, I haven't done a live in a while. What do you actually need help with? If you're too shy to ask a question, you could put a comment down. Okay, so just so you guys know, I do have my iPad is what I'm looking at, and then I have my like little setup so I can look at the questions. So I'm looking away, but I'm paying attention. Hi, Maria. I'm glad you're on today. I really am in need of someone giving it to me. No BS. Okay, what do you need help with? What's going on? Y'all know I be yelling, but that's because I want you to get your shit. I yell so you wake up. Like, I'm like your big sister that gives it to you real because I'm too old to be a lot of your mamas. I guess I could have had children because, you know, I'm at that age where I could have like a child or like a 9 or 10-year-old the most, but I would have like had to have them young, but whatever. Not that that matters. Okay. So what do you need help with? Sometimes we all need like a good hard slap. Like, I have to yell at my manifestation buddy sometimes, like, can you give it to me a little real? They'll be like, it's okay. You can keep persisting like that. It's like, no, it's not okay. I need to be in the state. So one thing I want you guys to realize, it's okay to get caught up in your feelings. It's okay to react. It's okay to get upset. The most important part is not staying there, okay? Not like playing in the pig pen is like what I like to say. I know my bestie, who I love very dearly, Manifesting with Kimberly, calls it stewing and shit, and it's the same thing. So listen, in the beginning, you're gonna stew in it a lot more, or you're gonna be in the play in the pig pen more, okay? But that's no reason to beat yourself up. But when you're conscious of doing it, you break the habit and then step in and embody the version of you that has it. You're allowed to feel a certain way when something is annoying you or pissing you off or hurting you. This isn't about not validating your feelings. It's just about not staying there, right, for like a long period of time, because we are only perpetuating what we don't want. All right, so I was going to say, if you need a good slap, I hope that helped. We all have those days. It's completely normal. I get it. It sucks when you're there. And here's another bit of advice. I don't hear a lot of coaches saying this, but I think this is really important, especially when you're really like drowning in it. Like, you are trying to shift and like nothing's working. Someone had given me this advice a long time ago. Sometimes it's okay to just be for the day, meaning like just take a chill pill. Like, maybe take a few hours, take a nap, stop. Sometimes even taking a break for a week or two, or even a whole month, can really help, because a lot of times we're manifesting from the wrong version of us. You haven't shifted your self-concept, and then you're putting such importance on this thing, needing this thing to make you feel a certain way. When in reality, you don't need shit. You just need to shift. Okay? The whole point of manifesting is not about working or trying or, you know, patiently waiting. No, it's just a choice you make and then shifting to that. That's all it is. Just being a new you. Like, and it's not even about being delusional. I know a lot of coaches are like, be delusional. Sure, that's fun. And, you know, I would say when you're not in such a great place or you're kind of teeter-tottering, that can help. But if you have to be delusional, what does that imply? That implies that it's hard, that you have to do this all the time, and you don't have to be delusional about manifesting. That's another like myth I want to bust, because I feel like so many of us think that that's needed, and it's really not. Okay, some of y'all shy. I can see that there's more than one of y'all on here, but it's okay. Like I said, it's one of those things that like I've noticed in the beginning. It's just a few of us, and then eventually it gets really busier. But I'm only going to be on for about an hour today, and if this time doesn't work, I may just go back to the 11 a.m. It's just that I was supposed to I have a coaching session myself because I'm in like an entrepreneur thing, and that's at 11 a.m. But I actually missed that today accidentally. Chip had a dog moment, like, when dogs, like, I had to give him a semi-bath, and now I got to give him like a bath later, so that kind of made my day a little later. I love him, but sometimes this little goof just takes over the whole day. Okay. My goal is health related, and I have lots of BBLs, bird before land. Good. But suddenly things started to go oppositely, but I just claim it's my bridge of incidents. Awesome. So yes, just keep claiming that. Here's the thing. I really want all of you to stop putting such importance on the 3D. Like, honestly, like, the 3D doesn't mean shit. It's just a fragment in time. And if you're always looking to the 3D for validation, then guess what? You're going to continue to look to the 3D for validation, and you're just going to manifest from a very hot and cold environment. And the truth is, if you're always doing that, then you're not the version of you that can do it. And it's okay. We can shift at any moment, right? Every moment is an opportunity to start over. But remember, your habits keep you stuck in that version. People underestimate their habits, like stalking their SP, blocking them on social media, which I get it, right? Like, I used to think that way too. Do you know what happened when I unblocked the third party? Like, I want to be really real with you guys. So for a long while, I wanted someone in my life, but I was very back and forth. And I blocked this person for a while because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to see their shit. Why would I block someone that doesn't exist? Why would I block someone that has no importance in my reality? Do you see what I'm saying? Even the implication of it, like, insinuates that it's an issue. You don't want to act from that version of you. I literally just posted a video about this on TikTok. Before you do something, I want you to ask yourself, would the version of me that has it be doing this? And if you get into that mode, you're always going to be thinking from the version of you that has it. So that'll help you shift. So try doing that, okay? So stop. So many people want to, like, control, and they think by doing these certain things are going to help themselves. And I get it. Sometimes, if a lot's going on, it can be hard. And I used to think that this is okay too, but that's another habit of you not being that person. Listen, there is no perfect way to this. And some people, might want to do that, and that's okay. But remember, always think, what's the intention behind it? Who am I being when I'm doing this? And then if you start asking yourself that more and more, you will stop doing those things that are keeping you stuck in the realities and the identities that are no longer serving you, okay? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so someone asked a question and then took it away. SG, can you rewrite your comment? Because I was about to get to it and then it went. Here's one thing I want you guys to understand about a live Q&A, okay? I do my best, especially when there's a lot of you, to get to every question that I can. But if I don't get to you in a certain amount of time, and I don't know, maybe SG deleted it because they rethought it, maybe I answered their question, but if you're acting from like this, I'm not being heard, I'm being ignored, that's not the case here. I'm like taking my time, not rushing through the live, and then a lot of times, if I have answered your question, then I won't go over it, right? Like assuming that you were on the live. But I'm not saying that that's how you feel, SG, but sometimes I notice that with clients too, or like followers, like they'll get so, oh, I don't know why it wouldn't let you retype. That's so weird. Okay. But I'm just not saying that you did this, but like some people get so offended. You didn't answer my question. Well, what do you think when there's like 100 people on a live? I know right now that's not the case, but like, I'm not going to be able to get to every question. And sometimes I choose not to answer certain questions because I've already answered it like 3 or 4 times and the person's not paying attention. Coaches have that right. And especially, here's another rule that I want you guys always to remember when you're on my live. You are not allowed to talk about other coaches ever unless I am speaking positively about them. I am not a coach that talks shit. I've never been that type of coach, even though there are coaches. There, one in particular, I will not name their name because I'm better than that. And I just don't give a shit to give them any recognition, that have used my name pretty poorly because they have really limiting beliefs about life and claim to be in the state, but whatever. I don't ever want you to bring up any coaches like stuff other than if you have a question about something. And here's another thing I want you guys always to remember. Go to the coach that said something. Like if you're questioning something that a coach said, go to the direct source. I can't speak for someone else. Now, if you want to ask in hypotheticals, like, hey, I heard this, what's your opinion about that? That's fine. I'm okay with that, okay? But always go to the person that said it, because I don't know in what frame that they meant that. A lot of people do that, and that I don't like that, and that's never been my style. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know I'm not into shit talking. I just don't like doing that, because if I'm tearing someone down, what does that say about my self-concept? I would never do that. That doesn't mean I'm not human and don't have my limits, okay? I absolutely do, and I don't tolerate, disrespect ever. But if I'm the version of me that's always respected, I don't have to deal with those kind of things. So just letting that out there for anyone that knows me. Okay, back to this. But now it's getting hard to ignore because I found out myself doubting that the treatment, which is a bummer. Okay, wait, what? Because I found out doubting that the treatment, which is a bummer. I don't know how to get back to the great state I was in, especially when I'm so close to scans. Okay, so I don't know what you're dealing with, but it doesn't matter. Can't you just say that they were wrong? Like, revise. Here's the thing, whatever ailment you have, if there was like, let's say you broke a bone, okay? Because this is a good, you know what, this is actually from The Law and the Promise, so from Neville's book. If you want to go reference this story, I think this will be a really good way for you to revise whatever's going on with you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in that way, okay? It could be the day that you got the diagnosis, or you were told, hey, like, your hemoglobin levels are off, or your cholesterol's too high, whatever it is. There's a story of a lady that had back problems from the time she was a little girl, okay? This is like pretty much from Neville's book. I'm like paraphrasing what happened. And when she was a little girl, she was swinging on a swing and she fell. And ever since then, she had had back pain. And I think Neville suggested this to her. She went back and imagined she never fell, okay? And this woman suffered from back pain for like, I don't even remember how many years, 20, 30, could have even been 40 years. After she revised, I think like 3 or 4 nights in a row doing SATs, the pain completely went away. Like, she healed herself. Okay, so whatever is going on in your reality, I don't care what they're telling you. You need to just start rejecting in your mind, right? If you have to do certain things, like take certain medications, have certain tests done, that's okay. But I want you to start revising. Just believe that they were wrong about everything. If it was a diagnosis, just revise that they were wrong. Or that nothing was wrong with you, right? Like, so if they said your cholesterol is high, just be like, oh, everything's perfect. Or if you were in an accident and you like fell off a bike or got hit by a car, whatever it is, I would just imagine that you were doing something else that day, or that you never got hit by a car, that you were just driving straight. I'm telling you, I've used this myself. You don't even want to know the things that I've healed. Like, literally, I've healed so many things. There's one thing right now that I'm working on healing. And so I used to have tinea versicolor, which is, I don't know if you guys know what that is. It is really that easy. Yes, I just saw your comment, and then I'm going to read the other ones, okay? So let me go back to how I healed tinea versicolor. That was kind of an accident. So I had always imagined that I didn't have it. It's a skin condition where you get like spots in the sun. I don't know if you guys know what it is. If you can see me right now, like, my whole upper arms and sometimes portions of my back would get really, really like blotchy with spots. And I would go and use that Selsun Blue bullshit like conditioner that's supposed to help. And like sometimes I would use like a fungal medication from the doctor. And I had been using these like subpar treatments, and the problem never really went away. If I'm being honest, like, I dealt with this from the time I was like 19 years old till now, okay? And I'm in my 30s. So like, it was a while. I had this for a while, like over, what is it, like 14, 15 years, something like that, around that. Yeah, something like that, give or take, because this actually started in high school. Like, I didn't have this completely, like, I had it once, I think my senior year, and then it stopped. And then I didn't have it for a few years, and then on and off, like literally just like, it was like, it never went away, and it drove me nuts. Okay. And the funny part was I did try to revise. Okay. And I'm not going to lie to you about this, but I've noticed that this does happen, but this is only because I return to peace and love, which is another way you can manifest, but that's like a whole other understanding. So I don't know if you guys know, but I go to Dr. Joe Dispenza's like meditation, week-long retreats, which is like you meditating for a week straight. And I didn't mean to revise this or fix this. So the first time I went last year when I was in Mexico, I was afraid of this being an issue. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get these sunspots again. I hate this. Like, because it happened to me, right? No joke. That was the first time a year and a half ago that I didn't get sunspots. And I didn't know this, but Dr. Joe told us this at the event, that you will sometimes cure yourself of ailments accidentally just from meditating so much. That's not to say that I couldn't have done it with revision. I could have. I didn't really persist. It was one of those things that I kind of just gave up on, but I was able to revise it without even trying. So another thing I want to tell you, like when you start being the best version of yourself and you're kind of embodying this love state, and you don't need meditation to get there. That was something I used to think as well. It's just embodying a state of perfection, because the I am state is perfection to me. Honestly, everything's perfection. But if you're in who you truly are, which that's what I was doing that week, right? I was just tapping into the limitless me. And that's why I was able to cure it without even having to revise, because I was being that person. So I want you guys to start understanding that you don't need meditation. You don't need a technique. It's all you. So you just need to choose to be that version of you that is healed now. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it did. And can you hear me really clearly? Can someone comment below? I just want to make sure. Okay, so yes, it won't let me retype. Pursuing me again, back to wanting like before. Okay, what do you mean by pursuing me again? You mean becoming the best version of yourself, putting your focus back on yourself? Is that what you mean? Because honestly, guys, like this journey is not about your SP. I want you guys to really get that out of your heads. I know that like a lot of you come to Law of Assumption because of your specific person, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I want you to know there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But so many people get so into the hype. Like the hype of Law of Assumption is getting them obsessed and getting them instantly and this and that. And yes, all that is possible, okay? Like I'm not here to say that it's not possible, but I want you to become more centered. I want you to become the version of you that can hold on to them. While some of these like techniques can work, a lot of people aren't teaching you the fundamentals you need to understand how easy this is, right? They're telling you self-concept's hard, telling you have to be patient, telling you that you have to try or whatever the bullshit belief is, okay? Because they're not there yet, right? There's a lot of people that have jumped on the Law of Assumption bandwagon. They're trying to teach you things that they don't truly understand. I'm not gonna lie to you, like I waited years before I started my channel on TikTok about 2 years ago. Like I didn't just start jumping in because I wanted to make sure that I was at a place that could teach from a higher place of consciousness. And I was for a very long time. I taught from a pretty good place. Like even if you go back and watch my old videos, they're pretty good. But you'll notice if you watch the newer ones, they're much different and simpler. Manifestation is that simple. I promise you it's not that hard. And I want you guys to understand that, okay? And the most important fact here, and yes, you can get everything that you want, but you're not changing anyone other than you. When you really get that and really start shifting internally, it all starts to change. And it's one of those things you got to be ready for too, because a lot of us want these things, right? But we're so comfortable in victim mentality. I hate to say it, but it's very true because that's what we know. So we got to break ourselves out of that. So sometimes you have to first embody becoming the version that's starting to become that versus the one that has it, because that might be too scary for you. And I know a lot of us don't want to admit it to ourselves, but we have to be honest about where we are at in the journey and who we've really been. And Kim talks about this a lot, Manifesting with Kimberly, who I absolutely love and adore. And so does Tom from Be Something Wonderful. I absolutely love him and adore him. He's so real about everything. It just really shows you that it's just you. And Kim does that as well. Everybody has their own ways of doing it, right? But I think that's so important. Like if you're not genuine or not honest with yourself, how are you going to shift? Because you can be like, no, I'm being that person. A lot of people say they're being that person, but they're not. They're actually being the old version of them, or the version of them that's in denial, right? And then we don't manifest what we want, we manifest who we are. That's the whole reason we have to become it first in order for it to show up, all right? So I just wanted to put that out there just so you remember that. And I know I'm like speaking in a more monotone voice today. I don't know, I'm just like more in that mood. Like I'm trying to come way more from my heart space and just go from flow, like whatever feels right in the moment, and just telling you guys that. Okay, let me go through some more of the comments. You're so welcome, Dee. Okay. LOL, he used to pursue me, chase me, want me. Then when I liked him back, he ran. Okay. We are friends now. That's good. So he's in your life. So how can I manifest my SP back to wanting me again? Do you not realize the belief that you have there? He used to chase me, pursue me, and want me. And then when I liked him, he ran. You have a belief that when you like someone, they leave you. So you need to work on that. Okay. Well, whatever we're seeing is always a direct reflection of who we are. So I would change this belief that no matter how you like someone or how much you like them, they're going to like you that much more. And that the people you want to be with you. Okay. And then you need to change. You need to become the person that's pursued, chased, wanted, and loved. So you have to choose, pursue, and right, choose yourself, love yourself, want yourself, but not in the way I'm saying, right? Like in a different way. Like the honest truth is being the chosen version of you, the version of you that's wanted and loved, will reflect that to others, okay? And you might just have a story when it just comes to him or intimate relationships, but you need to look at that as well. So I would put more focus on you creating a new self-concept and then being the version of you that has the ideal version with your SP. So what is it that you really want? Is it only to be chased, wanted, and liked by this person? I'm sure you want a relationship, or maybe you want to live together or get married. What is that for you? Not everybody wants to get married, so I don't want to say that, that's what you want, or maybe you just want to be seeing each other. You can tell me a little bit more. I can dive in a little bit deeper and give you more advice based off of that. Everyone's so quiet today. I know it depends. I don't think I'm going to stick to the 3 o'clock slot. I think this is a little bit too late in the day, but next week will probably be around 11 or 12. So what else you got for me? Some of y'all are hiding. So you want to marry him. Okay. 100%. He's perfect for me and he knows it. Okay. Well, become the version of you that's married to him. The version of you that's married to him isn't worrying about all these things, right? She's already confident. She's trusting in everything that's going. So what are you struggling with other than, because remember, you haven't shifted internally. You're not being that version if that's what you're seeing. And a lot of people will be like, but I am being that version. Are you really though? Because remember, it's always what we're predominantly being. And if it hasn't shown up yet, that's okay. We just have to continue to shift, and continue to shift some more. Literally. That's all it is. I know some people will be like, really, Maria? Like, honestly, sometimes I'm not even inspired to make videos because I'm like, I already said this like 100 times. But I mean, that's all it is. Saying the same things in different ways until it clicks. So what other topics would you guys like to go over? Because I know some of y'all being quiet in the background. It's so funny. The lighting that I'm seeing on my iPad is so different than what's actually showing up on the laptop. Well, I am 10 years older and worry about age. So I had to stop thinking about that. Yeah. Just become secure. I mean, there's different ways that you can battle that, right? You can just start believing, if you want, that you look like someone his age and maybe you're more desirable, which in a way is still kind of feeding the insecurity, right? Or you can just start believing that it doesn't matter. If anything, they love older women. And, the fact that you're older than him, isn't there that country song where I like my women a little bit older? Like, I mean, look at and I mean, this is just proof that it happens, right? I don't want to say, look, it happens. Older women marry younger men. That's not a good way to look at it. But look at Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas are a perfect example of this. She's gorgeous and he loves her no matter what. Like they met when she was like in her late 30s. I think they have like a 10 or 11 year age gap, maybe more. I forget. Could be 9 years. Don't quote me on it, but like he didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like literally the guy didn't give two shits. And that's because she has good self-concept. So you should have that too. I mean, there's people that date that have 14 and 15 years sometimes. There's women that are in their 60s and men that are in their 40s and 30s want to date them. It's all whatever you believe. Like literally this game is a forever game of whatever you want. Now, when it comes to anyone under the age of 18, I'm not okay with. I think that's wrong. But if someone's an adult and older, I think that's perfectly fine. But, some people, my rule of thumb is if I could have birthed you, I don't want you. Meaning, like, that's just my rule of thumb. I personally couldn't date someone, I don't think more than like 8 would probably be pushing it. But like, I don't think I could date anyone more than 7 or 8 years younger than me, but I'm also not that much older. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's, like I said, for me, I think if I could birth you, I wouldn't want to. Okay. Let's look. But remember, it's all what your self-concept is. So just start believing that the people that you want you, and the man that you're with just loves you for you and you're perfect. And if you're insecure about your age, that, hey, you can revise it, or you could just believe that you're in the body of a 29-year-old or 30-year-old. You know what I mean? You can literally do anything. So why limit yourself? How do you feel about angel numbers or synchronicities? Like, what's your experience with them? Okay, so I used to really be into angel numbers. I'm not going to lie. Someone said this a while ago, and I thought it was a really smart way of looking at it. I think I'm just believing that it means that you're right where you need to be. So if you're seeing 1111, I mean, what does that mean? We're one with everything. So you could just take it as that. I would just take it as a synchronicity and just move on from that and not give it too much meaning. I mean, it literally means whatever you want it to mean. I used to like I'm telling you, I'd look up like 444, 555. There were certain numbers that would like pop up in my reality like all the time, nonstop. Yeah, I think the most important thing here is, what does it mean to you? And just give it a good meaning. It really doesn't mean anything unless you think it means something. So there's something that, and I won't take credit for this because she said it. And I did coach with her a really long time ago. Amanda from Create Your Future, she does not coach anybody anymore. This was very early on in my Neville Law of Assumption game. It was like literally in the first 6 months that I found it. I did coach with her for a few months. I think it was like close to 6 months. But at that time I was a very different person. I didn't understand what I understand now. I was also battling a lot of shitty self-concept, but she said something that was very profound. And I think I do agree with this. Everything in this world is empty and meaningless. It only has the meaning that you give it. So while everything is us pushed out and, our assumptions do create our reality, those are honestly the only two things really going on. Do I believe that everything's always working in our favor? Absolutely, because then good things wouldn't happen to us, right? Things happen based off of the current person we're being. And if we want something more, then our higher self will bring that to us. So yes, it's whatever you think it is. So for you, if you like giving this a good meaning and don't feel like changing it, right, then don't. I honestly believe, so I used to be I still love gemstones. I always have. I forgot what gemstone this is, but it's supposed to like promote love and happiness and confidence or some shit, if I'm being real honest. I used to believe that gemstones can tap into different energies. And did I ever change that belief? No, I did not. You know why? Because it serves me. When I wear this gemstone, it makes me more confident. It makes me feel better. So it's like a placebo, right? So why not keep it? The only things I would say you should probably eliminate when they're not serving you, like, I'm not a big fan of like horoscopes. Sure, I'm a Sagittarius. I believe I'm Sagittarius to the core, but I don't believe that I'm limited to being a certain way, or I can only date certain people, because that's limiting, right? Or like you can only manifest on this day, or you can only call forth money in this way. Like, I don't read horoscopes or anything like that. There are manifestation methods that think like that, right? Like they'll tell you that you can only, I don't know, what are the things that they'll say? They'll be, there's that whole, I'm really against it, and a lot of people seem to like it. I forgot what it's called. Human design. Okay, I'm not here to shit on human design, but there's this belief that based off of when you're born, you're a certain type of manifester. Okay, like you can only manifest a certain way. The reason I don't like that type of ideology is because it's limiting, kind of like a horoscope, right? Or like when the moon's a certain way, or the energy's a certain way, or the weather's a certain way. Why are you, that's just like what you used to think it was true. But if you create your assumptions, why not create better ones and not limiting ones? Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm against stuff like that. Okay, let me get on to the next one. I am 49 and worry we can't have kids. Well, SG, you can change that. I mean, there's women in the, and I'm just telling you this from proof, women in the Amazon give birth. I mean, my grandma had an oops baby at 55. My uncle's still alive today. He's my great uncle. Him and my mom weren't that different in age. He was only like 7 or 8 years older than her. Like, I mean, you can revise your age. You could be 39 if you wanted. Or you could still just believe you can have a baby, and then you'll figure it out that way, right? So I get where you're coming from, because society tells us that, and I know what it's like to be a woman. But if we're limitless beings, why are we putting any restrictions on ourselves? Do you see what I'm saying? So I would just not let that bother you, and then just change your self-concept about what's possible for you. And then if you want to, revise your age, or just revise that you're in the body of a 39-year-old, if that's too much to wrap your head around. And I mean, there's always, like, let's say you're not able to revise that, or you don't want to, it's different for everyone. Why not just believe that you'll have a kid anyway? I mean, there's other ways to have children. If you want to do it like the 3D way, right? Like, we're limitless, we can do anything, but the 3D way, you can do it multiple ways too. You could foster, you could adopt, you could get a, egg donor, you could extract your eggs and do IVF. Like, there's so many ways. I'm not saying you have to be limited to those, but we're just saying like if you're not able to shift, those are still options, right? That doesn't mean you can't still be a mom. If he has children, you can become a stepmom to those kids. Like, we always just limit ourselves in certain ways. And I'm not saying only be open to those ways, but those are ways too, right? But that's only if you don't want to change your age and you don't believe it's possible and you're just not for that, right? Like, that's what I'm just trying to say there. I usually think it's me being aligned and thinking it's working in my favor too, haha, despite whatever happening. Good. Just believe it's your confirmation. That's it. It's your confirmation that everything's working for you. But why not just believe that everything is always working for you? Be like, oh, there's just another confirmation that I'm a badass. That's what I would do. I mean, just assume the best. Honestly, we're literally playing a game rigged in our favor. And even when you're getting the things that you don't want, it's still rigged in your freaking favor. Literally. I know some of you are going to be like, what do you mean? But yeah, that's literally what's happening. Okay, SG, it seems like that hit a point. Good. That was the point. Yeah, I think it's important that I do these lives earlier because I think the people in Europe can't join. And plus, like, it's Friday. Friday's got to be earlier. Maybe we'll do 10 a.m. or something. 10 or 11, I think is, yeah, depending on it. Do you guys have any more questions for me? I plan on staying on for a little bit longer. I don't mind this being a little bit of shorter live. We could even just do like a 45-minute one. So I'm trying to think what we could go over. So here's a good one. I mean, I've said this already, but why not just start expecting that wonderful things are happening to you all the time? It's the whole belief, right? That you're always doing everything right. As you guys, I don't know if you saw the last video I did, but I told everyone to start believing that every decision they're making is the right decision. Because if you're making all the right decisions, then you can't fuck it up, right? And if everything's rigged in your favor and you're always making the right decision and only amazing things happen to you all the time, then what else? Just expect for huge things to happen. Imagine yourself like excited for your day when you wake up. You're like, oh my God, another amazing day where I get to create all these awesome things. And even if you don't see something you like, just be like, that is just creating something that's meant for me. That just means I'm going to get, you know what? Look at the bad things. Or I don't want to say bad things, okay? Because nothing's ever bad. It's still you. And I don't want you to be like, oh, right? Like, be afraid of it. When you see something that's not ideal in your reality, even if it's unfolding in a way you don't like, just be like, that just means that my manifestation is going to turn out way better than I imagined. There you go. Do you have any favorite success stories? Oh my goodness, there's so many. You know what? That's a good one. I have one at the top of my mind that I could talk about that I did and I helped a friend do, but a question just came in, so I'll do that and then you know what? We'll do both. We'll answer this question and then let's go into the favorite success stories. So one of my ultimate favorite revision stories, and not that I haven't seen this before, was one of Sammy Ingram's. I've shared it on my TikTok before. I know other clients that have had similar successes, where the one where the third party was erased from the reality, like they didn't exist. Sammy posted about this a while ago. If you look through her success stories, I think on her YouTube, or if you go to my video, I actually did reach out to Sammy before I posted that video because I wanted, permission. It was her video. I'm not going to take credit for something that's not mine. She was okay with it. I love Sammy. Sammy's a really big sweetheart. She's a very nice person. Very kind. I know a lot of you, you see that, of course, in her videos. But yeah, just a wonderful person. I reached out, I got permission from her. My favorite about that video was that not only did she revise the third party never existing, okay? She revised how long they were together. They met in 2020, but because she revised, they'd been together since 2017, and she met this person in 2020. How awesome is that? I love that because it shows how limitless we are. This isn't about a third party or whatever, but you can do that with anything. Another favorite story of mine is a man who wanted to have a child. This is not my story, but a mentor told me about this, and I was confirmed this from her. Her name is, why can't I think of her name right now? She's Greek like me. A lot of people don't know her because she's more of she pretty much just preaches to Greek people and she has some non-Greek clients. She's a quantum coach. So the only thing is she's not really big into specific people. She had a client that wanted a child and he was in his 60s and he didn't want to have to raise it. So he just imagined that he had a kid. And I think after a few days of doing this and revising, he got a phone call from a woman he had slept with 20 years earlier, finding out that he had a child with her. And that he had this son that he didn't know about. Do you see how limitless we are? I like sharing these kind of stories because it shows you that literally nothing matters. Another story, like I said, this wasn't my direct story, but this is stuff people have done. People have revised. I don't talk about this very openly, and people want me to talk about this in videos, but I won't because it's too controversial. I will bring up the topic, but if someone wants to go deeper, we have to go in a one-on-one session. But people will ask me if they could revise the death of someone. Absolutely, you can. People have done it. I know people that have done it. I know people that have woken up to realities where their aunt's now alive, or their parent, or a pet. I have not done that yet. That is on the bucket list for sure. For me. And now they're in a reality. And here's the key to that, right? Really understanding that you're limitless and not having fears around that. Because there are coaches that will say that I'm cuckoo for saying that, and I don't give a shit. You can think I'm cuckoo to hell and back. I know these things are possible. What did I just talk about? Erasing third parties. Oh, another story I will tell you, and I did it myself, and I didn't even know I was doing it at the time. I know people that have deleted, we'll just say deleted, third-party babies. We'll just call it that. Meaning people were pregnant and they are no longer pregnant. If you go to Roxy Talk, she has some success stories talking about that. I have done it myself by accident, not knowing I was doing it. Years ago, this was a while ago, I was dating someone in Europe, in Greece in particular. We were kind of on and off. And then an acquaintance of ours, who I thought was my friend, but clearly she wasn't, but I had a third-party problem back then, she started dating him. I did not know. I found out. I was super pissed. She ends up getting pregnant. I was mortified because I was still in love with this guy at the time. And I refused to believe it was his baby. I had that much conviction. I knew that you could manifest a specific person back, but not to the extent that I knew. I knew that you could manifest someone like an ex back because I had done it, but I didn't call it that, right? I thought it was something else. I thought if you focused on something enough, it would happen because I did it with my first boyfriend. There's a whole video about it. If you go into my YouTube channel and check, and it goes pretty in depth. So, I found out she was pregnant. I was devastated. And I was like, she's not pregnant. It's a lie. I had convinced myself that she was fucking lying, okay? And that it was probably not his. And guess what? It didn't exactly turn out the way I would have wanted, but there ended up being no baby. And they never got together. And I believed that they wouldn't end up together. And they never did. And the baby was gone. The how really doesn't matter, but she ended up not having that baby. And I laughed. At the time, I didn't know. I was like, that's what you get. Karma's a bitch. I was real mad at the time. But then I look back at it now and I'm like, oh
oh my God, I totally revised it. I didn't realize it. I chose a reality where it was not his baby and she wasn't pregnant. And that's what unfolded. Okay. So yeah, anything really is possible. Okay. So like, oh, another thing, and I'm going to have to make a video about this. I got into a car accident in 2021 near Christmas. And at the time, my insurance technically had lapsed. Okay. A drunken driver hit me, and then I hit a car, and then I hit another car. I can talk about it now because the case is closed. I revised that. And at one point, I would have been really screwed. But at the time, I was like, no, I'm going to revise this afterwards. And I did. Do you believe that I bought insurance like a little bit after that happened and everything worked out? Like my car got covered. It shouldn't have, because technically I was lapsed on insurance at that time. And the other person in front of me was trying to come after me, right? Like, which, even though it wasn't my fault, I was hit by a drunken driver and they like fled the scene. I ended up being at no fault. Like the insurance didn't even raise my premiums. The car was totaled. And I actually made $2,000 extra because at that time, the cars were like really high, like used cars. Like I bought my car, I think at like 15 grand or 14 grand. And then it was valued at like 17 or 18 when it got totaled. So I made 2 or 3 grand on top of my loan being covered. Like I revised, and that person that was trying to go after me in court, the case got dismissed. Even though technically it shouldn't have. I should have gotten like community service. I don't think you can get a misdemeanor for not having insurance, but you could definitely get a fine. And I might have lost my license, but I revised everything. And in my new reality, the insurance was covered. I have a friend went through a very similar situation like mine. She hit someone and her insurance was lapsed. Her credit card got changed and she forgot to update the credit card. She was crying, bawling. She thought this guy was going to sue her. She even got a letter from a lawyer. Okay, she's calling me freaking out. She's like my little mentor. I love her to pieces. I know I can share this story because I'm not sharing her name and no one knows, but things weren't looking good for her. Like we were revising, I was helping her too, but she was literally getting, like, at first the guy was harassing her and then eventually left her alone. And then she got a letter from a lawyer and she's freaking out. And I kept telling her, what are you talking about? You had insurance the entire time. You have nothing to worry about. And the insurance at first was like, we can't cover this. Your insurance lapsed. She made the payment even after the fact. We kept revising that they were going to cover it. We kept revising that she always had insurance. And guess what? Her car was covered. The car paid for her damages and the other person's. Because we revised. This world is changeable. You can do anything. I've done it multiple times. I've lost things, found things. I was literally at my dad's house, our home house, like our house, whatever, my family home, looking for things I hadn't found. I literally found a pair of Lululemon leggings that I had been trying to find. I'm not shitting you. Like I wasn't actively looking, but I had lost them like back in 2016. You put the math on that. How long is that? 7 years? I found them recently. I found a shirt that I was thinking about. Found that. There's other things in that house there's another coat I lost. It was technically stolen in one reality, but I'm going to jump to the reality where it's there. I'm telling you, I found a pair of Lululemon leggings that have been missing for 7 years. Was I actively trying to revise and change? No, because I didn't really give a shit about these pair of leggings, but I found them. They're in my apartment now. They are hanging in my closet. Those were lost. And I'm telling you, I tore the house upside down for like a year or two looking for them and I could not find them. But now all of a sudden I found them because I knew I'd find them because I'm the creator. It's that simple, guys. I don't want you to doubt yourselves. Like, yes, anything is possible. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you what's possible, I don't know what would. Okay, we talked about some of my favorite success stories, and those are just some. Like, I can't even tell you the amount of success stories that I know and have heard. And I mean, remember, if something is possible for someone, it's always possible for you too. No contact to your advice. The bomb. To the point I was shocked. If the rest unfolds, I credit your advice solely, and I truly wish I had 2 years ago I had you 2 years ago and my SP really liked me. Okay, 2 things I want you to get out of this headspace. Get out of this. Okay, time doesn't exist. SG. Drop the aspect of time. And I know it's really hard. And I know we use time to measure. It's been a half hour. I should eat now, whatever, right? Technically this live was meant for 3 o'clock, right? And that way I was able to understand. But why not just understand that like that's just a tool we use, that time isn't real? It really isn't though. Because if I'm being really honest with you, ever since I've really tapped into this higher level of myself, I can't tell the difference between a minute ago and 2 years ago sometimes. Because I know everything's simultaneously happening now. Okay? And I want you to get in that aspect of trusting that everything is always happening now. Okay? So, and here's the thing. I love that you found me now, and I'm so grateful you found me now. You probably weren't ready for this. And I don't know who you were following before, and I don't know what the issues were before, and it doesn't matter. I want you to get out of this idea of like blaming yourself or feeling guilty. There have been things in my reality that I wasn't able to manifest right away, but that's only because I gave up on them. I didn't persist. I didn't shift. A lot of times we don't get that aspect of we don't get that version of our specific person because we're stuck in the old version. Okay. And the thing is, we fall victim to it unconsciously. So don't beat yourself up. It's okay if it's been 2 years. What do you give a fuck? You're still going to get what you want. And plus the 2 years isn't even real. It's happening now anyway. Okay. So get out of the blame and shame game. Okay. Meaning like, I don't want you to blame and shame yourself because I used to do that to myself too. And I'm telling you, blame and shame only keeps you in those states. Forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. You were probably just not ready at that moment, and that's okay. And you couldn't shift, and it's okay. You didn't have the tools at the moment, but you do now, and you're going to do it now. Okay? So no contact doesn't mean shit. They could literally call you as we're on this live. They can call you an hour from now. They can call you next week. I don't know when. So what is it that you really want to create, SG, with this person? Do you want a relationship? Do you want love? Do you want marriage? Focus on that end and fuck everything else. Who gives a shit if you're not in no contact? You don't know how they're going to reach out. You don't know if you're going to run into them. It could be a Facebook friend ad. They could watch one of your stories. Maybe you're going to get tagged on something and they're going to see it. Maybe you're going to run into each other at a damn festival. Doesn't matter. Okay? So my advice on this would be shifting to the version of you that can manifest them in the first place, right? Being the version of you that's confident, that doesn't look to the 3D, the version of you that knows you're limitless, the version of you that gives yourself grace and doesn't beat yourself up and understands that every choice you're making is the right one. The version of you that knows you're perfect and whole and complete. You know what? You could revise that you guys have been together since 2 years ago, if it bothers you that much. I'm not going to lie, with my SP, there was something similar. Like, not exactly the same situation, but I chose to revise that we had been together that entire time. And you can do that too. Just be like, we've been together since the day we fucking met. And live in that reality. Make that one of your revision stories. I mean, listen to Sammy Ingram's success story, girls. She did it. Why couldn't you? If you really want to be together from 2 years ago, then just believe you've been together from 2 years ago. Your reality will shift on some level. Maybe only they will understand that. Because from the revision story that I heard from the Sammy Ingram success story, the girl remembered that they weren't always together, but the guy and the family and everybody around them thought they were together from 2017. So you could do that too. Or you could think, or you could remember from being that version. Depends. We're literally playing a limitless game of peekaboo. I wouldn't call it peekaboo, but we're playing a limitless game here. It's Monopoly. Except you make all the rules. It's literally rigged in your favor. So if it bothers you that much, just say that you've been together since the day you met. You've been together since 2 years ago. And then just imagine what you want. That's what I would focus on. And then be the version of you that's confident, secure, that doesn't give a shit about the 3D. That things happen for quickly and fast. Okay? Hello, Maria. Long time no see. Hi, Marjorie. I hope that helped, SG. If you have another question, go ahead. I'm going to probably stay on for a little bit longer. Oh, I love having Chip on my lap. You little needy guy. You're needy. But, time for him to go down. My legs fall asleep when he sits on them. Okay. All right. I love that story. Thank you. Basically, I'm a big testimony on you create your reality. Oh my God, I want to hear about it. If you want to share with us, Marjorie, I would love to hear. But okay, man, the lighting just sucks in here. I really need to work on a better lighting because it's like half shaded. I'm telling you, like what I'm seeing on the iPad is not what I'm seeing on the computer, and it makes me mad. That's okay. That's okay. It's fine. Who gives a shit? I'll manifest that it was perfect lighting. Okay. I'm just like, I don't like it, but I'm going to revise that it was perfect. And it was perfect. So I'm just going to believe it was. This, I feel like the lighting that I'm seeing on the YouTube isn't, or on my YouTube video, which is probably what you guys are saying, is not flattering. It makes me look tired, but I don't look like that. It's just the lighting. But whatever. Doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? All right. Chip is so cute. Thank you. I actually, if you guys want to follow him, you don't have to. I made him a TikTok. You know, there are people making thousands of dollars doing like UGC deals for their dogs. And I'm like, and I already know how to do this shit because I do it on, I mean, I'm pretty big on TikTok. I know how to do it on Instagram. Like, I have a following. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that for my dog and make it some extra income. Why not? Plus, I have a marketing background. But regardless, like, I made Chip a TikTok. And I'm probably going to make one for his. I even made a TikTok for me. Remember, if you ever see me on social medias, I will never follow you first. That doesn't mean I wouldn't follow you back. It's just like I won't message you. So if someone messages you on social media pretending to be me first, it's not me. Those are scammers, okay? There was some person that was like a tarot reader pretending to be me doing magic spells. I'm like, I don't do that. Whatever. Regardless of the situation, I will never follow you first, but I do have a personal like TikTok if you want to follow it. It's called The Maria Voss, T-H-E, Maria Voss. I might even make a YouTube. We'll see. And then I made a Chip the Hava on TikTok for fun. But I'm probably not going to promote these on these channels. But I wanted to share different things, right? Like personal things I go through, products I'm trying, how they're working, how they're not working. But that's a different story. Okay, back to this. I used your method. Oh, wow. Okay. I met your advice was so good that when he wasn't speaking to me, I used your method and it completely worked. Congratulations, SG. I'm so happy for you. Now just apply those methods to what you want, right? Okay. To the reality that you want. I save dogs. I'm a animal cop. Oh, how cute. Wait, what's an animal cop? What does that mean? Can you elaborate some more? Thank you for being so good to dogs. I love dogs. I'm not going to lie. When I first got Chip a few years ago, he's only 3. And he's going to be forever 3. That's something I decided. So he lives a really long life. I don't know, like having a dog has made me much more compassionate to animals. Not that I wasn't before I was, but I'm such a better person. Like dogs really do bring out the best in us. They teach you unconditional love and forgiveness. Like literally he shit himself earlier and the poop was stuck on the back of his ass. And when I came in from walking, I had to wash his ass with my bare hand and it got all over my tub and I had to, clean it. And then I had to like change my clothes and clean the clothes. And then I had to clean around the area. Like, I mean, things like that. If things like that don't humble you, I don't know what does. He's taught me a lot about tolerance, patience, but yeah, I love dogs. I actually am going to make a brand of clothing for the main channel, like the YouTube and all that, like my manifestation channel. And I want to donate a portion of the proceeds to animals. Like not the whole, obviously, but a portion, right? Like maybe 5%, 10% of sales will go towards animals. I might even do that with my coaching packages. I just want to help and give more because, I mean, animals are so helpless. But yeah, I'm all about being a philanthropist too. But that's another story for another day. My coworkers hate me because I am successful and am always all over my goals. And the branch has more revenue since I'm there. That's awesome. But why not just change it to your coworkers appreciate you and love you, and they love the fact that you're bringing in more revenue. Get out of this idea that they're jealous of you, because people who are jealous of you are going to talk shit about you. They're not going to be nice to you, right? They're going to avoid you. They're going to criticize you. Just change that one belief. They love you. Everybody loves you. Why wouldn't they love you? They're happy that you're successful. They aid in your success. They help you be more successful. You all work as a team. I would change that if I were you, Marjorie, but that's a personal choice. Maybe you don't care to. That's okay. But why have anyone hate you? Because, you're not, it would bother me, right? Or you could just be so secure you just don't give a shit. Both are an option. Police, but I have a save a next. I don't know what that means. Like an actual police officer, but you just aid in helping dogs. That's awesome, if that's what you do. I want to create a reality that my partner wants to get another kid and get pregnant. I want to create a reality that my partner wants to get another kid. You mean have another kid and get pregnant? Yeah, just be that person now, Marjorie. I would just focus on that. Okay? All right, guys, I'm just paying attention to the time. We could be on here for a little bit longer. I'm getting more questions. That's always what happens. I'll be like, in the beginning, it's always slow, and then it gets into a groove, which I appreciate. Okay. Hello. Let me look. Yeah, Marjorie, I would just focus on that, right? But I don't remember who asked me, but you got to believe that you're able to get pregnant. If you are the one that wants to hold the child, then just believe that you're like fertile and all that. Or just imagine yourself already having the kid, right? You could even revise that you've had the kid. I mean, that man woke up to a 20-year-old kid in that story that I told you. Why can't you wake up? I've thought about it. I'm not going to lie. There's times where I just want to wake up to already having a child. And it's not that I want to miss parts of their life. And some people would be like, that's selfish. You've missed out time. I mean, missing out on the shitty years isn't a bad idea, but not meaning in that way, but you know what I mean? I've thought about that. Like, I could just revise. I already have one kid, and then I just have to give birth to another, and then I'm done. Or I could have two more. Whatever. It's your reality. You can play with it in any way you want, okay? Let me see. Hello, hi, chick. Nice to see you. Any feedback or advice on being motivated when wanting to give up? Okay. So you're either wanting to give up for one of two reasons. Look who's back. Chip. Oh, Chip, you want to say hi? Hi. He's such a diva. Like, I don't know if there's a diva name for a dog that's a boy, but he's such a yeah, he's like king energy. Like, so spoiled. Little prince. Whatever. Okay, back to it. I can get on tangents sometimes. Okay. Any feedback, advice on being motivated when wanting to give up? Okay. When you're wanting to give up, you're either trying, it's usually these two things, if I'm being honest, or one or the other. You're trying too hard. And remember, what does trying imply? You're not that person. Okay. You're in the wrong, and it's usually when you're trying, you're in the wrong state and you're getting triggered by everything, or you're trying really hard. And a lot of times that comes from poor self-concept too, or just poor beliefs. And then being tired always also comes from this idea that I can't get what I want. I might as well just give up. Okay. That's because you don't believe you can get what you want. And you're probably in a reality where it's really hard, or my specific person doesn't want to be with me, or making money is hard, or whatever it is. Okay. So you need to get out of those states. When people are usually exhausted, my first recommendation is take a break. Take a few days, a week or two, and just like take a breather and just do self-concept. Become a version of you that knows that you're limitless, that you're good enough. Start practicing habits that the version of you that knows that you're limitless would be doing. The version of you that can snap your fingers and manifest anything, right? And then go to the state, right? So just do that for a little bit. It's not that you have to take this step, but usually when people are tired, it's because they're approaching it the wrong way, okay? And I can't speak and tell you exactly what you're doing because I don't know what you're doing. Other than I have a pretty chaotic SP situation. Well, there you go. Tons of successes, insecurities came in. You got to shift your self-concept. And that's okay. That's just because you got to remember the self-concept that's familiar to us is what feels safe to us, right? This idea that we're limitless, we can have anything, that we're like confident, secure is new to us, or safe, or whatever, like whatever you're trying to shift to, because that's not familiar. Because a lot of times when we're probably in that state, we had doubts and then something went wrong. So there's this belief, I can't believe these things, or things are going to go awry. I'm going to get hurt, right? The way to overcome that is just not believing the old beliefs, not succumbing to the old doubts. And even if they do come up, be like, I don't give a fuck. I choose to be this version. Sure, maybe old chick thought that way, but new chick thinks this way, right? This identity, this version of me that exists. I mean, there's already a parallel version of you that is that way anyway. So just be that version of you. But like I said, chick, this isn't something that I could cover necessarily just on a live because it's a bit vague, right? Which is fine. I do offer coaching if you want one-on-one coaching. If not, that's okay too. It's never needed, but it's there. A lot of people want me to give them like a one-on-one session in a live. And while I wish I could do that, it's not quite that, right? It's more like advice, general advice, or what I see can happen or motivating you than anything. Now, I'm constantly seeking support in people close to me who don't believe in the law. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, chick, the reason I say don't do that is because A, they don't understand this. B, you know they don't understand this. They're going to give you bad advice off of their limited beliefs, right? That is when I would definitely recommend getting coaching. Doesn't have to be with me, but make sure it's with someone you trust and not some bullshit coach, because there's a lot of coaches out there that say that they know what they're doing. They don't know shit. I've heard from a lot of coaches where like they've talked to someone and the person literally gave them no advice other than listened. And I know because I was that person. Like in the beginning on this journey, I'd go to someone and they'd be like, oh, you just need to be more patient or keep doing what you're doing. You're almost there. And it's like, but you gave me no advice. Well, what is this shit? Why'd I just pay you $200-$300 for what? Right? So if you are going to seek coaching, please go to someone that's going to give you good advice. Don't waste your money on someone that doesn't know jack shit. And even if they're like $100 cheaper, then save up and then go to the coach that's going to actually give you good advice. That's one thing I will tell you. And I will never say I don't give back. Here's the thing. The only time, and this is really fucking rare, okay? 99.9% of my clients get what they want. Or they shift and then they start getting what they want. And then they eventually get it. The only time that they don't get what they want is when they don't understand this stuff or they're not willing to shift. Okay, like they're not willing to be that version of them. They're not choosing themselves. That's a personal choice. I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink. But that almost never happens. I've only seen that happen with like 1 or 2 clients where I could tell they're like really stuck in their shit. And even when that happens, after like 2 or 3 coaching sessions, they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. You're welcome. That's what I was telling them. But I mean, I'm there pushed out anyway, so I'm just giving them what they need, right? But yeah, just make sure you go to someone that you trust. I had 6 amazing months of manifesting. I was so impressed with my power. I felt unstoppable trying to get back. Just be that person. No trying. Just be it. You know exactly what to do, chick. Then start doing those things, okay? Like I said, if you need help, you know where to find it. And, you know, maybe you need to take a little bit of break from manifesting. That's okay. Take like a week or 2 off. I'm telling you, there were times in my life where I felt so frustrated, and just taking that time for myself and just being normal sometimes was like exactly what I needed. I've been looping. I have 0 cancer since I understand it. It's our mind doesn't understand, no, or doesn't, or don't. Brenda, okay. Okay, so I'm assuming you have cancer. And remember, I'm not a medical professional, so I can just tell you based off of love assumption, and because I've cured myself of other ailments, multiple ones, and they're no different. Manifesting cancer is no different. Manifesting being cancer-free or not having it or never having it in the first place is no different than manifesting a cup of coffee. And I know some of you are going to be like, but that's not true. Well, the only thing that's true is your limiting belief in the way. It's only harder because you think it's harder. Okay? You can literally revise anything. And literally everything is revision anyway. What do you think we're doing all the time when we don't like something and we're shifting to be something else? It's revision all the time, all day, every day. So there's no difference between manifesting a cup of coffee and manifesting a text, or manifesting being the version of you that doesn't have it, because there's a parallel version of you that doesn't. Okay? So I don't know what caused the cancer. It doesn't honestly matter. My nose is bugging me. Sorry. I would just say that the doctors were wrong. Just believe that the doctors were wrong. That seems to work for people really well. Just say that they were wrong. I mean, doctors are wrong all the time. You know how many people I've heard stories that don't understand manifestation? And they're like, oh, the doctor said it was this and it wasn't. Some people have sued because doctors have been wrong. I have a friend, and I will share this story and maybe it'll give you some hope. I mean, she doesn't quite understand manifestation. She understands more like positivity and stuff like that. Like thinking positive helps you or makes you feel better. Her mom was coughing up blood, which is like, I don't know if you know, like a pretty like severe symptom. Like that's usually a number one symptom of like having cancer, like throat cancer or like lung cancer. I love my friend's mom very much. I've known her since I was like a teenager. And honestly, anytime I find out someone's ill, I always revise for them and I always imagine that they're better. Okay, you included. Don't worry, you'll be in my revision thoughts. I do that for people because I want to. And because, I mean, you're me. Why wouldn't I want you to be healthy? But regardless of that, I just kept telling my friend and I kept giving her mom comfort too. I'm like, the doctors, you know what? I don't buy it. I don't think you have cancer. Doctors are wrong all the time. That's what I said to her and my friend. I said, I have a feeling it's something else. Something that is like perfectly normal. Okay. I did this for my friend's mom. Not too much. Like, because I didn't have a lot of resistance to it, right? Despite the fact that my friend's mom doesn't understand manifesting, neither does she. And both of them have like pretty normal beliefs about health, right? They believe whatever the doctor tells them is true. I just kept persisting. Anytime I thought about my friend's mom, I'm like, no, it wasn't that. It was something else. It's just like something that doesn't harm her. Something else. They were completely wrong because she was still having the symptoms, right? Do you believe me when I tell you no? That she did a biopsy, came back negative. It should have been cancer, okay? It could have been cancer, but I didn't want it to be, so I revised. It's just something that happens to her in the cold. Like she spits up blood. It's like, I forgot what it's called. It's like a reflex or something. Like she has sensitive lungs or something. I forgot what it's called. She said what it was, but it wasn't cancer. That's all I did. I mean, yes, I could have gotten rid of the symptom altogether, but it's not harming her. I believed it was like a allergy or I forgot there was something else like pneumonia or something. I think that's what I believed. I'm like, it's just like an illness. She'll be fine. But then I was out with her mom like a week or two ago and we were talking about, because I have a family member moving to Florida and he really wants me to come. And I'm like, I'm debating. I'm kind of dragging my feet, but whatever. We'll see. I might move there next year. But regardless, even though I've always wanted to live in Florida, which is kind of funny. And it's like my brother's moving there first. But whatever. Regardless of the situation, me and the mom and her are talking. And she's like, yeah, I really need to live in a warmer climate because this cold makes me cough up blood. That's why I have that blood now. Sometimes the cold weather does that to me. I have a sensitivity to it. And I just like laughed when I thought that. I was like, wow, I totally cured her. It ended up being nothing. It ended up just being a symptom. Nothing that could even harm her. And my friend's mom's fine. And I've done this for several people. Several. Like I've had a friend's dad that was dying of COVID. Shouldn't have been able to walk or talk again. He's alive today. I have my brother's best friend was sick and dying in the hospital. They literally thought he had days to live. He was also losing all cognitive function. He talks just like you and me now. He has, I think, a little bit of residual something. Where like certain things happen to him, like I think a little bit of with like his delay and like the way he moves, but overall very healthy, speaks normally, cognitive, can drink. He's overall pretty healthy. It was just like a little bit of a side effect from that. They literally thought he was dying. And I was like, no, it's not that. The doctors are wrong. That's what I kept saying to my brother. My brother's like, he's gonna die. And I'm like, no, he's not. And then a year later or 6 months later, I see him at my brother's backyard mowing the fucking lawn, helping my brother mow the lawn. And I'm like, hey, his name's, I think, Anil. Or wait, I forget. He yells at me when I forget his name. But I see my brother's friend. I'm like, oh my God, how are you? He's like, I'm great. I'm doing a lot better. I'm like, I'm happy to see that you're walking. And I think the day after I yelled at my brother and I'm like, you say you don't believe in manifesting. Look how healthy he is. I did that. I tell people that sometimes. I did that. I take responsibility for it. But Brenda, you can do that. Just revise. I think with illnesses, fighting against it sometimes creates more triggering. You know what I mean? I think the best thing to do is to believe either revise that there was never anything wrong, that when you originally got the test results that they were normal, or just believe that you're completely healthy and you've always been completely healthy. That would work too. Or believe that the doctor's wrong. One of those three should help you. Okay? If you need more help, link is in my bio. I offer coaching and go into this in more depth, okay? A lot of times when people can't revise that, it's like their limitations or their beliefs kind of in the way, okay? But that should help. Please share examples of a way you could shift fast for a better financial situation. Okay. Why would you have to shift fast? Okay. Guys, always think, what is my intention behind this and what is this implicating? That's this belief that time is expiring, that something bad's going to happen. Just shift and believe that you shift always fast with everything. Okay. I don't know what your financial situation is. You are being pretty vague here. Whatever it is, whether it's your rent being paid or you having more money in your bank account, just imagine it there. Or just say, I make 10,000 more a month, and just start believing that. That doesn't mean you have to go and spend money at the store and go be dumb. You know, you don't want to be spending all this money and you don't have the money. I mean, yes, in essence you could, but you know, you don't want to put yourself in a bad financial situation either. But you know, if you need to fix a financial situation, then focus on it already being fixed and stop trying to control the how. The reason most people slip up when it comes to money is because they get afraid of deadlines, that the rent's due, whatever. Okay, that's happened to me too. I'm not gonna lie. There's been moments where I'm like, crap, like I should have made more money this month, and like I'll freak out, and then like literally a day before the rent's due or whatever, I'll make more sales or something will happen where I get like an extra $1,000 and I'm like, ha, and I giggle, right? Because I'm the one that does that. You need to have, if you want more abundance in your life, you need to trust that there's abundance, and you need to stop being in this like limited mindset, right? Like you need to shift and become that person, have the self-concept of a person. Now, if it's a certain thing you need help with, just believe it's paid. Be like, my rent's paid. There's $5,000 in my bank account. I have the money for this. And the house not up to us. Maybe a family member is going to lend you money. Maybe you're going to get approved for a loan. Maybe you're going to get a promotion at work. I don't know what that is. Maybe you're going to get fired and get a new job that pays you 20 grand more. I can't tell you the how. And you shouldn't try to control the how, because then you limit yourself to how it can come in. Just imagine being that person and having that money. Don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution. That's where a lot of people get caught up. They freak out, and I get it. Timelines feel real, but they're not really real. And there's only a timeline if you believe it, or a deadline, or an expiration. How to overcome resistance that keeps spiraling all the time. Well, that's because you keep giving into the spiraling. You got to cut yourself. You got to break the spiraling, okay? It's not that you're not going to have moments and react. It's just, do you continue to react, or do you shift and become a different version? Do you see what I'm saying? It's a choice. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have spiraling moments, and it's okay if you do, but you catch yourself in the middle of it and you stop it. It isn't about, don't think this is thought flipping. It's not. It's about, okay, I want you to think of it this way when you're spiraling or you're going down a wrong path or you're being the old version of self, whatever it is, okay? It's like being in a big ship. There's a famous quote or affirmation, I'm the captain of my ship and the captain of my ship, captain of my fate, some shit like that, okay? You are the captain of your ship. You get to choose which way it goes. Do you want to hit an iceberg, or do you want to go towards clear waters? Do you want to be on the train that falls off the rails, or do you want to be on the train that goes in the right direction? Sure, there might be a couple detours here and there, right? When you're taking an Uber, sometimes there's traffic. Sometimes your Uber's a few minutes late to pick you up. Sometimes there's a traffic jam. Sometimes there's a car accident. Sometimes you have to pee and run into the 7-Eleven, so you ask the Uber driver to stop for you. The how is not up to us. Maybe you get rerouted 20 minutes in and you find another way to get there faster, right? Like, we don't know. You can't tell the Uber driver how to drive. You just trust. It's like GPS. It will get you there. Just focus on the solution. So steer the ship in the direction that you want to go. Right? Be the version of you that's confident, that trusts. When people spiral, it's because they're they're serving two masters, right? They're giving into old beliefs that they're not good enough, or that it's not working, or that they're going to be, I don't know, whatever it is. If it's towards a financial situation, right? Let's say it's your rent. You're like, oh, I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to get evicted. It could be that, you spiraling in that way. There were no sales today, right? Like that's you just being more of the old self. If that's not what you want anymore, when you catch yourself being that person, let yourself feel how you feel. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel annoyed. But then you want to start steering the ship the other way. Oh my God, my rent got paid. Thank God. It worked out even better than I could imagined. I'm getting so much more sales now. My business is booming. Money comes out of nowhere. This is so much easier. Do you see what I'm saying? Both are two realities. One, and the moment you're embodying that, you're saying these things to yourself, even if it's just inner conversations of affirmations, you're already starting to embody that state. And if affirmations aren't your thing, then just imagine, right? It being like, I don't know, August, I don't know when your rent's due, but let's say most places I've lived, by August 5th, you have to pay, like by the 5th of the month, you have to pay. Just imagine it being August 6th and you're like, oh, rent's paid. And I have all this extra money from all these unbelievable sales that happen overnight or just out of nowhere. Or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Thanks, Brenda. It's not like I don't know how to make enough money, but somehow it runs out. That's a belief you have, though. Okay. It's not like I don't know how to make enough money, but somehow it runs out and I find myself controlling and getting scared to spend. Because you have a belief that money is scarce. If you're making more than enough money, then how do you not have enough money? Think about it. That's kind of like you have contradicting beliefs. And that's okay, but you need to shift them. You're the version of you that makes enough money, but somehow always runs out of money. So you probably have unpredictable things come up in your reality. Like maybe your dog gets sick, or maybe you have an unexpected doctor's bill or kid's bill or whatever. Or maybe you break stuff a lot and you got to buy new things, or your, I don't know, heat ends up like way more expensive, or the air conditioning, right? Your electric bill's higher, your gas bill's higher every month. You're creating all those circumstances. So why not just believe you're making a lot more money, more than enough money than you can spend? And you never have to worry about that. It's a choice too. It's re-steering the ship in the right direction. It's really that simple. And I know I'm not here to knock you. And I know that can be frustrating, especially when you're like, I make enough money, but somehow I run out. Well, that's a belief. You're going to keep ending up in that loop because that's who you are. That's the character you're being. Or you can be the you that makes enough money and always has enough money. The you that makes more than enough money and has so much money that you don't know what to do with. Just shift. Literally, it's just the opposite of what you're doing. And then any other limiting beliefs you might have around money. Okay? So I'm not here to knock you, but you got to remember, you steer the ship, no one else. You have to turn it around. I can tell you what to do, right? I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. A lot of people are really comfortable with their beliefs too, because they're afraid to shift. It's uncomfortable. And yeah, of course, at first it is uncomfortable. Because all the old stories, all the old beliefs, all the old nagging thoughts are comfortable because it's what you're used to. It's what you expect. Start expecting better for yourself and better things will happen. It's all a choice. It really is. I know that it's kind of like an oxymoron thing, but I really want you guys to get this because when you do, shit changes. You know how many times, like, I'm telling you, there's been moments too where like my rent's due in a few days and I'm like, or in like a week and I'm like, bank account not looking that great. I also am the kind of person, I always have like a savings account with a certain amount of money. Like I'm just not comfortable using that money. So I act like it's not there. Right. So like I've always been taught that by my parents. Like you always want like $5,000 or whatever, just sitting there just for emergency cases. Right. And I'm a huge believer. You should always have a safety net. But if I see like that amount dwindling, I get nervous. And it's happened to me. I mean, I'm human. Even being a coach, like, of course I have expenses too. There's times where I'm like, but somehow it always works out. I'm telling you, there's been times where I literally haven't made videos, I haven't done anything, and the money just shows up. It'll be from like something that my old job owes me, or I'll just get like an influx of clients. But that's because I'm being that version. But you don't want to fall back to that. And that doesn't happen to me that often anymore, but we're all human. We all have those doubts. I'm telling you, just trust that it's going to be covered. And be the version of you that has so much money, you don't know what to do with it. That's how much money you make. You don't even know how to spend it all. Okay. LO, that's what I keep telling myself and everyone. I head bob a lot. I just was watching myself back. It's funny to see the delay on the YouTube. Like, I have my laptop open. I like that the video's this way. I never want to do it this way anymore, like straight ahead. It will always be this way. I like the full thing. Okay. Well, that was wonderful. I'm going to let y'all go because I want to take a shower. I had to clean my shower earlier, scrub it. And I want to take care of some other things. But it was wonderful seeing you all. I will do another live next Friday. I don't know if I'll be doing it later in the day, like more like 3:30, because I feel like more of you jumped on now, or I might do it earlier in the day, closer to like 11. We'll do another poll. But every Friday, expect a live from me. And starting very soon, subscriptions are starting. I'm going to have a group coaching that we do weekly. It will include a like live, I'm going to do group coaching for all of you guys. It's going to be a membership only group, but it's going to be one where it's going to be every week, same date and time. And then I'm also going to give videos on my YouTube, and then maybe like one masterclass a week or something, or one masterclass a month. A week is too much. And then I'll probably end up selling those. If you don't want to do all that. But yes, membership is coming soon, so be ready. Probably going to announce it next week. Yeah, it was wonderful having you. I hope you can all make it next week. I will announce a Instagram live probably this week, and I'll jump on TikTok. I haven't jumped on there in a long time, but much love to you all, and have a great day. And just remember, you are limitless and you can do anything. Never doubt yourself. Bye, guys.